Everybody, it's Trent Austin from Austin Custom Brass. Thank you so much for your great support you've given the shop during our annual brass giving sales event. This is a question I get all the time, and I feel like it's finally time to address the elephant in the room. And that is, when we post a video, like we posted a video today of this beautiful Thane trumpet, beautiful Thane trumpet, and I will tell you, this is no joke, the first 4 questions were, what's the bore size? What's the bore size? We understand how people think that bore size is the determining factor when it comes to how an instrument plays. But I have 2 wonderful examples right here. One being the Adams A6 trumpet. A6 trumpet is based loosely on the constellation, including the bore and configuration of the instrument. And people who play it without knowing the bore size, when they come into the shop, will go, wow, this trumpet plays so open, it's so free, it must be a large bore. It is actually a small bore trumpet, 0.438. Another wonderful example, how you can't use bore size as being the determining factor for a trumpet's playability, is the new Bobby Shew trumpet, or any one of the Bobby Shew trumpets, because they have the same similar step bore design. So if you take this slide out, you take out the second slide and you measure the inner tubes of the second slide, you'll get a small bore marking, around 0.445 to 0.448, depending on where or how you measure. So you're going to say that trumpet plays very tightly. Now, the polybore design is designed to give efficiency to one's playing, but the point is that that doesn't determine just the only thing that how the instrument plays. My big gripes with that is that people use that number as the determining factor. It isn't. Right here. This is one of the most crucial elements of any trumpet design. The receiver, inside the receiver, you probably can't see inside the receiver, but the gap, the beginning of the venturi, how the venturi is set up, how long the initial section of cylindrical versus conical inside the venturi is. Those factors alone, in my opinion, can outweigh the bore size. A vintage example of this is the classic trumpet that Clifford Brown played, which was the Blessing Super Artist trumpet. That trumpet is a .468 bore. It's a large bore trumpet. Yet I have never played a trumpet that was the Blessing Super Artist that I liked. It always felt super tight. And so I finally had to decide, why did it feel so tight? Is because the receiver and the lead pipe were set up in a certain way to accept a certain mouthpiece. Once you get the right setup with the mouthpiece and the gap is huge, then you actually open up a world of possibilities, and that Blessing Super Artist started playing incredibly well. You know, you think about Clifford Brown, he wouldn't pick a substandard trumpet. I mean, he's one of the world's greatest trumpet players. Coincidentally, he unfortunately passed on his way to Elkhart, Indiana. Supposedly he was going to get a constellation, but I'm not totally sure about that, because I've seen like rumors that he was also getting a Martin. Both of those companies were in Elkhart at the time. But I digress. That's a more important factor, in my opinion, than bore size. The shape of the bell, the taper of the bell, the dimension of the bell, the material of the bell, the construction of the valve block. Is it a 1-piece block? Is it a 2-piece block? What I mean by that is, when you look at that, Yamaha's 1-piece block. You look at this block, it's a 2-piece block. The construction alloys that are used in the block. This has a bronze block with nickel silver upper top, what we would call ballisters. Think about them as sleeves, but it's not a sleeve. And what you find is that this horn, although it's .460, medium-large, because of the construction and setup of the valve block, plays much freer And it sounds much freer because of the valve block. So I hate to burst your bubble. I don't want to be on a tangent, but if I had $1 for every time someone asks initially what the bore size is of a trumpet, I'd be 100 air. No, I'd actually have a fair chunk of change. Bore size is one element in hundreds that go into designing a trumpet. Then you might ask right now, well, Trent, you've been pontificating for 5 minutes plus on why bore size is overrated. Why on earth do they make different bore sizes? I didn't say it was not important to the design. I just meant it was an element. Like I said, with this classic small bore design, I'm going to pull this slide out, hopefully. This is 0.438, folks, right there. It's teeny, teeny, tiny. I could put the 460 slide, and I'm actually going to do that. Hold on. Or actually, I can use the Shew slide. You can actually probably see, and I'm going to get them pretty close to the camera. This one is 438. This is 445. You can actually see that on the camera, the difference in the bore sizes. But it is an important element. We don't want to just casually blow it off. But it's overrated because the maker of the instrument has put in so much thought about every element. Well, we'll say hopefully the maker has put into thought about every element that's gone into this trumpet design. The configuration of the bell, the lead pipe, the bracing, the weight of the valve block, the alloy material of the valve block, the slide setup. For instance, the high E flat on the Adams A6 trumpet was a little funky at times. So when I went to the factory a few years ago to help on the design, we added a counterweight, right where my finger is. We added a counterweight in the inner part of the slide. Also, the slide is made of a different material. That helped the high E flat. It's not folklore. It actually works. What's the bore size? I'm just kidding. I hope you find this mini lesson informative, and I love you all for asking those questions. Keep asking your brass questions, but I just had to say it. I think I hit a critical mass. While you're here, hit that subscribe button. Stay up to date with us. Thanks so much for your great support. There's a few days left of our Brass Giving Sales event. We hope to see you at ACB very soon. Stay safe. Keep on keeping on. Take care.